we have great policemen. We have great policemen in this country, and I support them, and I've been on this show for 2 years.
Yes.
And I've supported them, but we also have things that are not okay and bad things that happen. What Kaepernick did, and Kaepernick was not the perfect messenger. He sometimes acted like he had 1 month of black history and was a complete moron sometimes. I'll give him that. But his message, he took a knee during the anthem because that was for the voices that couldn't be heard in his opinion. And then we had problems that we talked about on this show, and we got through it, and we eventually came down to, as long as it was peaceful, he was being a citizen, and we moved on. To use that for a few cheers at a rally, to me, that's where we missed the point. Mr. Trump, you're better than that. If you can't talk about anything else in Alabama about football, are you kidding me? They're national champions every other year. Greatest college town in America. Like, there was things you could have talked about. Using that on that platform was so divisive and heartbreaking for me because he's not going to feel affected from it. He's not going to be in that bar. He's not going to be walking to school. He's not going to get spit on that protester. That's us, the people, regular people who are fighting this fight now. That it was for a soundbite, for what he thought. And like I said, I support Mr. Trump as much as I can. He didn't think much of his base that night because he thought that's what they needed to hear. They didn't need to hear that.
Can I just, when I looked at that, I felt that he was, the reason why Trump got elected is that, like it or not, he is us. And you've said it, he's like your uncle.
He's also the worst of us.
Yeah, but
and he was in that situation. We didn't need, my point was, I work very hard to always, whether I agree or disagree, to respect the office of the President of the United States. And I felt that the President of the United States and the White House, the office, didn't respect me.
Okay, fair enough. I think that he was a viewer, not a president. When he gets up there and he talks, he's talking like a viewer about football. You know, that's the way I see it. But I totally respect what you said, even though I disagree with you, because that's what's beautiful about this show.
Yeah, and you know what? We can have that conversation.
Yes. All right. Well, Dana, you don't get that on Fox and Friends. Or maybe you do. I'm just never up.
You're sleeping it off. It was interesting. I really admired a lot of the aftermath in some ways, and I know that I agree in terms of the painfulness of it, and I also think some of the language, the choice, especially SOBs, it was the thing that stung and it hurt and it made it even worse. Interestingly, a lot of the writers, and I'll point out a couple, Jonathan Last at the Weekly Standard wrote a piece saying, let's look at the fact that it's not just one incident of police brutality that they were talking about, and he lists all of them. And it made me try to look at this from another perspective. You know, I grew up in Wyoming. We went to rodeos on the weekends, not football.
And you bowled.
I did bowl.
Yes.
My Aunt Patty Sue in Rawlins, Wyoming, owns Memory Lanes, and that we did bowl. But we, of course, we stood with our hands over our heart.
You bowled with a marble.
That's a good one.
Yes.
You should have saved that for one of your openings because you're going to run out of material. Anyway, my point is that there was a lot of thoughtfulness actually that happened this week, and towards the end of the week, as the players start to decide what they're going to do at the weekend for the fans to try to get back to football, that there is a movement for criminal justice reform in the country, and there could be a bipartisan movement. There's a lot of conservatives that agree with a lot of independents, like Rand Paul on the libertarian side, and then on the liberal side, there actually is a way to get policy to move forward so that people that feel like they are protesting are actually being heard, and everybody can, as you said, go home. Yeah,
you know, Kimberly, I think that one of the probably the big positive things was, I mean, I find the whole idea of these symbolic gestures to me a little silly. It's this grown men, and but it doesn't matter what political side, it just drives me a little crazy. Right. I have to hand it to Dallas for separating the protest from the anthem, because I think that was, like, as Trump said, was progress, and it ended up pushing it to some sort of solution, maybe?
Yeah, I think you're making a fair point, because, you know, look, I appreciate the emotion, the passion, and the life experience, you know, for Tyrus, what you've gone through from people that you know, that you've worked with also professionally. It takes a lot of courage to be able to put yourself out there, especially when, you know, your job is on the line as well, and you have the president saying something, but at the same time, time, I'm also looking at, okay, I think the president made those comments spontaneously. I don't think that that was something that he planned, you know, on saying. But when he's speaking and he went an hour, 20 minutes or whatever over time, he does a lot of this that's extemporaneous. And there's things that he says that sometimes people are like, whoa, we want to take it back. We want to keep him on prompter. But at the same point, I think he was approaching, like you said, from a viewer or like a business perspective. I want to give him something to let people know that even though they have a lot in line with their salaries, et cetera, they're willing to take a stand because they hear the voices out there and the social injustice and want everybody to know, be strengthened by their position to say it's not falling on deaf ears. Dallas, however, what they did was they carved it out and they separated it out a little bit to say, we're going to ignite to veterans, the people who have fought and bled and died. That means something to them too. And I think we need to be respectful of that so they don't feel diminished in the process or that people aren't really, you know, understanding the full impact of the anthem and the flag.
You know, Kat, I just go back to this idea that this got out of hand. It just feels like it was a ball that got rolling, and it's like if you polled America, this was not part of the. This is not something that is part of their lives. I will say with Antifa, this is good. It's good that people do this, but you gotta, if you're taking a risk, you gotta know you're gonna upset people, or it's not a protest.
Right. Well, part of the reason why it got so big was because of President Trump's SOB comment. That's when more people jumped in. Yeah, it's a peaceful protest. Institutional racism when it comes to criminal justice is a real thing. It's good to see people protesting peacefully. The reason they're able to do that, though, is because this is a country where that's allowed. And I think that as long as you are being very, very open about both of those things, Colin Kaepernick did a bad job of that. You know,
wearing the socks pissed me off. The socks.
Like I said, he was imperfect.
And then the shirt.
He's not Arthur Ashe. I'm sorry, Kat. He's not.
Yeah, but you have to respect it and start a conversation. But has it really been working? Because now we're all just talking about kneeling. So I respect it. I also really, really love to see that we are in a country where you're allowed to peacefully protest something like this. Because in any other country, you could get your head cut off for doing something like that. So I'm very grateful to be an American.
Very good, Kat. I'm grateful to be American, too. So, what do you guys think about Tom Price resigning?
How did he not think he was going to get caught for that?
Expensing a private plane?
That's not like buying a donut on the company car. People are going to notice.
The price is wrong, bitch.
No, you know what it is? It's like I get worried when I do my personal mail on the company. Like when I pay a bill, when I throw it in, I shouldn't have actually said I did that.
Oh my gosh.
Got him. All right, wrap it up.
He's going to be awake all night worrying about that.
Come on in, guys. We got him. This has been a
I'm
sting.
talking about my previous
I worked for the Federal Post Office.
When I worked at a previous job, not
And now
here.
you pay all your bills electronically, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Thank you, Dana. All right. Well, we covered Tom Price, didn't we?
Exactly.
Coming up, China cracks down on North Korea and other stuff the president did while no one was looking.
Of our times. From Jonathan Cahn, best-selling author of The Harbinger and the Book of Mysteries, comes The Paradigm, the ancient blueprint that holds the mystery of our times. In his most explosive book yet, Cahn reveals the stunning master blueprint that is unfolding before our eyes. You'll never see the world the same way again. Read The Paradigm, available wherever fine books are sold.
I wasn't sleeping well. My neck would be stiff.
I had like memory foams, I had feather pillows, and I'd always wake up with neck pain, and I had constant headaches. After sleeping on my pillow, I didn't wake up with the headaches. I was more aligned. Everything felt good.
I didn't realize the connection between the pillow and sleep. When I switched to my pillow, I got a better night's sleep, and I love it.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs, and it holds that support all night long to take the pressure off your shoulders and keep your neck aligned regardless of your sleeping position, so you get the best night's sleep of your life. Take advantage of my famous offer and get 2 MyPillow premiums for one low price. Call or go to MyPillow.com. Be sure to use the promo code and I'll give you free shipping.
Other pillows go flat, causing you to fold them over or use your arm for support, which can cause pain. Hard foam pillows can raise your head too high and heat up during the night, making you very uncomfortable. But the revolutionary MyPillow has patented fill that won't go flat and keeps your neck supported and aligned to your exact individual need. MyPillow helps you get and stay in deep sleep all night long. And how about this? MyPillow is machine washable and dryable and comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and an amazing 10-year warranty. Plus, every MyPillow is made in the USA.
I really like the fact that it was made in the USA. I think that USA products are a better quality product. I've tried a lot of other pillows and nothing's worked like MyPillow.
I personally guarantee that MyPillow will be the most comfortable pillow you'll ever own.
Call or go to MyPillow.com now, and Mike will send you 2 of his premium MyPillows for one low price. Use the promo code on your screen, and Mike will include free shipping. MyPillow comes with an unprecedented 60-day money-back guarantee. Call now to take advantage of this exclusive TV offer. Get 2 MyPillow premiums for one low price plus free shipping.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Brash, unapologetic, and electric, Simon Cowell wasn't always all ego.
I have a lot to be thankful for, Harvey.
Objectified, Simon Cowell, Sunday on the Fox News Channel.
Little hands are curious, sometimes a little too curious. We try our best to protect the little hands in our lives, and although we can't always predict what they will reach for next, we can make sure some things are never in reach. Seemingly harmless window cords pose a serious strangulation hazard. Replace corded window coverings with only cordless products or those with inaccessible cords, and look for products certified with the label Best for Kids.
Page 6 TV's got the most plugged-in insiders in the business. Carlos Greer.
We got this juicy tip earlier this week.
Elizabeth Wagmeister.
I've spoken to ABC and they are denying this.
Bevy Smith.
I know no one wants to hear this, but it is true.
And John Fugelsang.
We're having what I call Paris Hilton weather. Hot and unpleasant.
It's who's on the inside that counts. Page 6 TV. Weekdays. Check your local listings.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Marianne Rafferty in Los Angeles. O.J. Simpson just released from prison tonight after nearly a decade behind bars. The former NFL star was convicted back in 2008 for a botched robbery and kidnapping. He was sentenced to 33 years behind bars. Simpson says it was an attempt to get back what he claims were his belongings from a memorabilia collector at the Palace Station Casino in Las Vegas. A Nevada parole board voted to let Simpson free on parole back in July after serving just 9 years of his sentence at Lovelock Correctional Center just north of Reno. Simpson will now be supervised under parole guidelines through September of 2022. At the parole hearing, the now 70-year-old Simpson had said he planned to move back to Florida. That's where some of his family is currently living. That move, though, would require both Nevada to approve a transfer plan and then also Florida to accept that request. Now, as of Friday, the Florida Department of Corrections said so far they have not received any such request. And also that same day, the state's attorney general also making it very clear she did not want Simpson in that state at all. The Nevada Parole Board was not allowed to consider the 1994 slayings of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman in Brentwood, California. That was a crime that, of course, transfixed the entire nation, and a trial that remains one of the most watched live televised events in history, alongside Simpson's low-speed car chase in a white Ford Bronco. Simpson was ultimately acquitted of the crime by a Los Angeles jury in 1995. It was a controversial verdict that caused Simpson to lose his acting, endorsements, and also sports broadcasting opportunities. And while he was found not guilty, Simpson did lose a civil judgment related to the crime and was ordered to pay more than $33 million to the victims' families. Now, there's something interesting to note. When O.J. Simpson does get out of prison, he'll have actually far more financial resources awaiting him than most ex-convicts would. His football career afforded him an NFL pension, although the league has not said exactly how much he'll get out of that. Simpson also reportedly has $5 million in contributions to a retirement plan run by the Screen Actors Guild. And the former football star will also be able to collect Social Security benefits for the first time ever. Now, these are based on lifetime earnings, retirement age, and some other factors. And as we mentioned, Simpson lost that $33 million civil suit to the families of Ron Goldman and his ex-wife Nicole, and most of that money has never been collected, but retirement income is protected from that judgment under federal law. So right now it's really unclear how much Simpson will actually have once he's released, but it will be a substantial amount of money. Joining us now on the phone is Norman Pardo, O.J. Simpson's former manager, ex-manager, and also longtime friend. And Norman, you've made it pretty clear that you don't think life after prison is going to be all that great for O.J. Simpson. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I just think he's going to have a lot of challenges. He's got a lot of people that he's hanging around with and been hanging around with that needs to go away. So I'm hoping that when he gets out, he finds new friends. It's just my.
Now you're saying a group of people that he should not be, be around. Does he realize that? I think you've talked about that maybe he does understand that he needs to be really careful once he's released.
I really don't know. To be totally honest, I don't know. Because he's not acting like the person that went in. So I don't know what he's going to do when he gets out.
Tell me what you mean by that. He's not acting like the person that went in. Tell me what you mean by that.
Just different things he's doing, different. He's not the same person. A lot of, I think, memory losses. He's having issues, in my opinion, just listening to him, for 9 years. Since he's been in there, he's been changing.
So you mentioned all these people that he probably, and I apologize, there's a little bit of a delay there for us, Norman, but you mentioned all these people that he shouldn't be around. If his plans are to go to Florida, is it going to be worse there for him or maybe a little bit better?
Well, it makes no difference really where he goes. These friends will cling on to him and find him anyway. So no matter where he goes, they'll follow him and find him. So it's not a big, difference in where he goes. I believe he should go to Florida. I think he should spend time with his kids. I think he should retire and live a happy life. I don't think he should be out doing the things he did when he got in there. So,
and you've been friends with him for a long time. So are you planning on trying to talk to him, trying to visit with him once he's released?
I'm sure we'll talk. I mean, we've got a lot of things we need to go over, but we'll see. I mean, it just depends on who he is when he gets out. When he gets out and about and gets his head on straight, then we'll sit and talk.
All right, Norman Pardo, thank you so much for being with us and for your insight. And I'm sure we're going to be hearing much more about O.J. Simpson's release in the coming days and weeks. And for now, we want to go to Fox News senior correspondent Adam Housley, who is actually in Nevada. And Adam, what's the mood like there? What's happening where you are right now?
Well, we're in Las Vegas, where a lot of people believe O.J. is expected to come. Again, right now we don't know his exact plans. We know that at 12:08 a.m. here local time, so an hour and a half ago or so, almost an hour and a half ago, O.J. signed those papers and then walked out of Lovelock Prison, which is about an hour, 20 outside of Reno. So further north, obviously, in the state than where we are, significantly further north. He was picked up in one SUV, not a Bronco, coincidentally. We know there was one person driving. They're not sure if anybody was inside besides that person driving. There was no incident, no issue. He walked out, got in the SUV, they drove off. And now the question becomes, where does he go? There's been all sorts of stories about where he would be released from, where he would end up. We know he wants to eventually go back to Florida. We do know that his old bail bondsman here in Vegas, who we knew 9 years ago when that trial took place, says he still owed money, and that may be an issue now that he's out of prison. We do know that just about everybody who's at the precise time that he was going to be released. Now, Marianne, what's interesting about all this is that the Department of Corrections here kept everything really under wraps. Our producer here got tipped off that he would come out of Lovelock. That generally does not it happens, but doesn't happen as normal as most releases. We're told generally you're taken out to a different location, like a halfway house, that kind of thing, and that's generally where someone gets released from prison. In this case, obviously, he came out of Lovelock. There had been talk that he was being in transit. In fact, the Las Vegas Review-Journal, about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago, put out a big, long article about how he was in transit. He was being brought down here to be released at Indian Springs, which is about maybe 30 minutes north of Las Vegas, where they have a prison there. What this shows is that really nobody knows what his plans are, but because it's O.J., because he's so controversial, because all these cases have been really captured so many people's attention, whether you like it or not, that has people really, starting to ask where he's going to go. Vegas, That's really kind of basically the odds-on favorite, to use a term obviously very well known here in Las Vegas, is that he's going to come here for a little while. They do know he wants to go to Florida. Florida said the paperwork hasn't been filed. Are they playing with semantics? We don't know if that's the case there. The other couple interesting things that we should bring into all this is, for example, we were here in Las Vegas where you have the sports books on, you have all the different things going on. Earlier this evening I was out with the crew, we were having some food, and on the sports book you see all the different games up, and here comes a TV report about O.J. Simpson. So it's interesting to see this. We were here 9 years ago for that trial, and now all of a sudden to see this all come full circle. I did speak to somebody, people in law enforcement here in Las Vegas in the last day. They told us that really they're not focusing on it. They have so many other things they deal with. Someone coming like OJ coming down here, yes, he's a big name, but for them, as far as they're concerned, he's just another parolee. The one issue they do have is that they don't want a situation of the white Bronco chase that we saw way back in the 90s. They don't want that first picture, which some people estimate could be worth as much as $20,000, the first photo away from the prison. So you've got paparazzi here from all over the world. You've got every news crew here from all over the country. And then you got all the different looky-loos, so to speak, people that, hey, if they get the first picture, whether they're professional or not, they're going to get paid. So people are going to now be staking out pretty much the entire state of Nevada to see where OJ goes. There's a number of ways, if he goes to Vegas, how he'll get here. He can drive south on the main freeway. It's probably a 4.5 hour drive, depending on how fast you go, maybe 5 hours. He could fly out of a number of different airports on a private plane. He could also fly, of course, out of Reno on a regular flight like anybody else. So it's interesting to see where he's going to end up. But again, Marianne, at this hour, the odds-on bet is coming here. But at this hour, we don't know where he's going. We just know he has been paroled out of prison at 8 minutes after the time he was allowed to be. That first time was right at midnight. It's interesting for us, too, as we've been watching this the last couple of weeks, to see that actually happen at 8 minutes past the hour, because even when we spoke with officials here in Las Vegas and for that matter in the state of Nevada, we got a number of different stories. Some people said, oh, it won't happen until Monday, but he has to check in with the parole department, and all these different parameters were given to us. But when it came right down to it, it was the most basic. He basically walked out of that prison 8 minutes after he was first allowed to. Marianne?
And that's the thing. I think everybody's wondering about the timing of this, the hour in which this happened. And you mentioned all the paparazzi and everyone around there just waiting for this. It seems like this timing was maybe a little bit on purpose to I guess, keep it a little bit quiet.
Absolutely. I think there's a couple of things that happened here. First of all, they leaked out the idea he was coming to Las Vegas right away. And because in the past there have been, generally speaking, if someone is convicted of a crime here and goes to prison up in the northern part of the state, a lot of times they'll be brought back here first and be released from down here. So that was the theory that was really kind of the last few days pushed out to the media. It could have been to keep the media away from Lovelock. Now, we have people up there, everybody had people up there, but of course the mass of the media has come here to Las Vegas, a significant distance away from Lovelock. So you have that. There really is a big concern. The number one concern when you talk to anybody in law enforcement in Nevada was just they didn't want to have that car chase. They don't want to have a Princess Diana situation. They don't want that. That picture is going to be worth $20,000 by some estimates. They don't want that to happen and have it affect anybody. They want to keep everybody safe and secure. So clearly they felt this was the way to do it. I know that there was a number of different ideas floated to them, because I know this from people that are inside the Department of Corrections. They had been thought about, they could take them to really any facility they wanted to. And we were actually reminded at one point a couple of days ago that he could have been at a hotel with 2 officers from the Department of Corrections, and that would still be considered in custody. So they had really the whole plethora in front of them of what they wanted to do, how they wanted to let him to be released. And I think when it came right down to it at the end, they had some roads closed off near Lovelock. It is kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And it really just made the most sense safety and security-wise to do this at 8 minutes past the hour, but in the middle of basically the northern Nevada desert. And the question now is, I'm wondering, because you got to believe that there were people parked alongside those roads up there. So we haven't seen that yet. I've been monitoring social media, have not yet seen the tweets, the pictures, the Instagrams, anything like that coming in from somebody who might have followed that SUV. The other interesting thing, too, is we had heard they might try to put several cars out at the same time to throw people off, and that didn't seem to happen either. But you do wonder also who's inside that SUV with him, because he could have had family in there, could have had his lawyer in there, some of his friends, of course, that have been on his side through all this this most recent ordeal he's gone through. So all that plays into this, Marianne. Again, the belief at this hour, just after Well, it's 1:32 by my watch here in Las Vegas. The belief at this hour is that he's going to be coming here and that eventually he'll go to Florida. But at the same time, the way these people have been playing semantics, he could be on his way to Florida right now in a private plane. So we're going to be monitoring all this, Marianne, as you got to believe that in the hotels in Las Vegas, because these programs were on, the news reports were on earlier this evening, that what people were there at the blackjack tables and playing cards are probably going to be seeing this in some of the televisions, knowing that OJ may be coming here, which Vegas, city never sleeps. And in fact, this time of night, it's still pretty busy here, Marianne.
All right, Fox News senior correspondent Adam Housley, thank you so much for your insight, and definitely, as you mentioned, stay safe out there. Joining me now by phone is Mark Furman, former LAPD detective who investigated the 1995 killings of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman, also testifying during that trial. Hi, Mark. Thank you for being with us right now. What are your thoughts as you're seeing, as you're hearing that O.J. Simpson is now walking free?
Well, walking free, I really don't have any thoughts. He's just another suspect. That's probably how most detectives and policemen would feel. He's nothing special. I think it's very funny what Nevada did. I was at dinner with my wife last night, and I told her Nevada would probably do this, and that's because that's what I'd do. Nevada's not worried about a Bronco chase. They just didn't want to deal with the media circus, the ridiculous media circus that descended on Nevada at his parole hearing. They didn't want to deal with it, so they didn't. And they set you up, and I said you, by the media, they set everybody up by putting out last week that the parole board doesn't work on the weekends, so it would most probably be next week that he's released. And once they did that, I knew they were going to do this.
And so this is odd. This is different than what would normally happen to any other prisoner. Is that correct?
No. This is the way you deal with media situations or demonstrations or any out of the ordinary situation where somebody generates attention. You release them in the middle of the night. You release them on a weekend. You do it when they least expect it, with the least amount of fanfare. The old perp walk is something for the old gangster movies. It's just too much of a pain for law enforcement to deal with all the paparazzis, the media, the looky-loo generation that has nothing better to do than to focus on something like this, like it's some kind of real historical event.
Well, it seems like law enforcement got what they were trying to do, which was to kind of keep it a little bit quiet, a little bit under wraps, as Adam was saying, to keep everybody safe, so they didn't have a car chase, paparazzi situation on their hands. Now that Simpson has been released, we had just heard from his ex-manager, and he said he didn't feel like he was going to do very well on the outside. What are your thoughts on that, on how he's going to do now moving forward?
Oh, he didn't do very, very well on the outside before the murder of Ron Goldman, Nicole Brown. To think about it, I mean, he just doesn't function well in the interactions between some people, and his judgment is flawed. And, as far as how he's going to do outside, I have no idea. He's got money. If he was wise, he would stay off the radar, but I'm not sure it's in his DNA to do that. I think he likes this attention. It would seem that if people really wanted to pay Simpson back for his crimes of which he was not convicted, they would simply ignore him.
Right. It doesn't seem like that's happening. I mean, we just saw where Adam is,
No.
media set up, trying to get that picture, trying to be there for this. And that's probably something that's not going to change, obviously. Do you think that that now his next move is going to be to Florida? I mean, what are your thoughts on where you think they might be going? Because it sounds like it's anybody's guess at this point.
Well, I guess you got to follow the money. Florida is probably where his money's been going since he's gone to prison. He's got a pension in the NFL to the tune of somewhere around close to $25,000 a month. That's where his money's going. I believe he has a house in Florida. I believe he has relatives in Florida. I mean, you know, I don't think you have to be a detective to figure out he's probably going to Florida.
I don't want him. I mean, they can't keep him from going to Florida, right?
Well, the state of Nevada can deny transferring his parole, but that would be probably highly unusual because they'd need a reason. And really, who wants a double murderer or somebody that generates the kind of media attention in their state? Really, which state wants him? You could probably ask any attorney general; they'd probably say they don't want him. But Pam Bondi is saying what she feels, and I'm sure what her state feels. But if he wants to go there, I think it'd be hard pressed to keep him away.
And again, for anyone who is just joining us, you know, we've talked about what life is going to be like for him, you know, now that he's been released. And you told me that you didn't think he did well before, so why would he do well now? Can you talk about that a little bit more with us?
Well, he's got flawed judgment. I mean, look at the things that he was involved with after he skated on a double murder. He gets involved in some kind of fraud dealing with satellite TV. He gets in a road rage incident. He was in, you know, some arguments in public. He was involved in this Las Vegas incident. His judgment is flawed. So I would suspect that if he's wise, he's going to take some advice of some handlers that he keeps around him, or he's just going to be under the radar and just take the amount of money he has and live out the rest of his life in a quiet way. But I don't think it's his nature. I think it's his nature that he wants to get back into the limelight somewhat, that he's wasted a lot of time, and I think he really enjoys the attention that the media gives him. And once again, I'd say if the media had some class, they would simply ignore him, stop trying to throw money at him so he can do an interview, stop talking about getting one photo that's worth $20,000. Have we become that ridiculous of a nation, that disgusting of a nation, that we would pay $20,000 for the photo of a 70-year-old double murderer that just got out of prison?
Yeah, you know, he's still going to be under supervision until 2022, and he's still, you know, of course, we still don't know where he's going to go. But if he does go to Florida, he's going to transfer his parole there. How does that work?
Well, it's the same way as if he stayed in Nevada. The conditions of parole in Nevada will apply to him in Florida, and that would mean that the conditions of parole, one of the conditions of parole is that you are subject to search by any parole officer or law enforcement officer. In other words, you have no Fourth Amendment privilege. They can do spot searches at will of his home, vehicle, and person anytime they want without a search warrant. And that's a condition of parole. They could have a condition of parole that you can not associate with certain people, that you can not drink alcohol, of course, not use drugs. They can prohibit you from traveling outside of the state without permission, or even outside of the county in which your parole is held. The conditions of parole can vary from one state to the next, or vary even in the same state. There can be a large swing on the parole conditions, but those conditions, if not followed, he will return to Nevada to stand in front of a parole board, and then his parole would be violated if they so deem it. So people don't understand. He is still a prisoner of the state of Nevada till 2022. They are allowing him to be free in whether it's Nevada or Florida, they're allowing him to be free, but he still is actually under the custody of the state of Nevada. That's what parole is. That's why he does not have a Fourth Amendment privilege that he can be searched, or his house or his vehicle, because he's actually still an inmate in the state of Nevada. They're just allowing him to be out, and parole is to see how you do on the outside, to see if you can maintain, certain conduct and get back into society.
And on that note, we're discussing parole and how that works. Do you think prison has changed him? Do you think that we're going to see a different O.J. Simpson now than we've seen the past couple of decades?
I would have no way of knowing that, but I suspect not. I watched the parole hearing, and I watched a man that is in complete denial that he even did anything wrong. It's really shocking that the parole hearing, to me, was a foregone conclusion, and the paperwork was done before they ever went through the charade of having it on TV. He actually did not admit that he even had a gun, that it was his idea. He did not admit that that property was not his. He did not even answer the question of the parole board member that asked him specific questions. He went on, I believe it was almost 6 minutes of a monologue, really about how he didn't do anything wrong. So watching that, I would say he hasn't changed a whole lot in those 9 years in prison.
All right. Mark Furman, former LAPD detective, thank you so much for your insight and for spending so much time explaining some of how the parole process is going to work for O.J. Simpson. And if you're just joining us, and thank you, Mark Furman, we will come back to you. And if you're just joining us, O.J. Simpson just released from prison tonight after nearly a decade behind bars. The former NFL star was convicted back in 2008 for a botched robbery and kidnapping, and then sentenced to 33 years behind bars. Simpson says it was an attempt to get back property that he claims belonged to him from a memorabilia collector, and he maintained that all along. But a Nevada parole board voting to let Simpson go free back in July after serving only 9 years of a sentence at a correctional center just north of Reno in Nevada. Simpson will now be supervised under parole at least until 2022. We will have the very latest on this breaking story. Keep it here, Fox News Channel.
Need new floors? Empire Today makes getting beautiful new floors easy. Impossible? Let me show you. Empire brings hundreds of samples to you. We call it Shop at Home. The floors are high quality and come with great warranties. Plus, Empire handles the installation. You don't lift a finger, and the job's done right. Shop at Home, quality floors, professional installation. That's Empire Today.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today. Guys, you have a choice. Slow down with age and lose your edge, or crank up your total testosterone with Ageless Male Max from the makers of the best-selling T-Booster in America. Look, many products only boost what's called free testosterone, but that's only about 3% of your total T level. Ageless Male Max has ingredients that boosts your total testosterone. Now that's the difference. And you can try your first 30-day supply free when you text 797979 and enter the word GREAT. The ingredients in Ageless Male Max are so powerful, research saw greater increases in strength and twice as much fat percentage reduction than with exercise alone. And when you add all these benefits, you have a formula that other brands simply can't match. Get your free supply by texting 797979 and entering GREAT. If your results are too intense, please decrease use. Text 797979 and enter GREAT.
Bill Hemmer, Sandra Smith, America's Newsroom. Smart, experienced, unmatched news coverage. Starting Monday. Don't miss the new America's Newsroom.
I won this 55-inch TV for less than $30 on DealDash.com.
I got this $1,200 computer for $100.71.
These aren't actors, they're real people who got real savings at DealDash.com, the fair and honest bidding site.
On Deal Dash, I got this $349 mixer for less than $25.
iPads sell for as little as $5, laptops for $10, and professional cameras for as little as $20.
I won this iPhone for $8.48 at DealDash.com.
I got all this for less than $50 on DealDash.com.
Try Deal Dash today. If you don't win, get your money back, but hurry, everything must go. Go to DealDash.com now to start bidding.
In my first 4 months on Deal Dash, I won 104 auctions.
And shipping is always free.
Visit DealDash.com and start bidding today.
With our laser-measured floor liners and cargo liners, all new Bump Step XL, side window deflectors, and no-drill mud flaps, WeatherTech provides the ultimate protection for your vehicle. Go to WeatherTech.com to order yours today and see our full line of automotive accessories. Nothing protects like WeatherTech.
My muscles ached. I was tired all the time.
My son had a full-blown asthma attack. It came out of nowhere.
The unsettling thing about some symptoms is
a fever, headaches.
You don't always know what's causing them.
It was Lyme disease from a tick bite.
A reaction triggered by cockroach allergens.
I had West Nile virus from a mosquito.
Threats to your health can come from unexpected places. Mosquitoes, ticks, and cockroaches can make you sick. Get the facts. Visit pestworld.org.
Her name is Reality Winner, and she's anything but. You may remember she was accused last year of leaking classified report about Russian election meddling. This week, a transcript of her interrogation was released, and you'll never believe what she blamed for her behavior. She told investigators, quote, "I filed formal complaints about them having Fox News on, at least for God's sake, put Al Jazeera on, or a slideshow with people's pets. I've tried everything to get that changed." Her solution to this problem, apparently treason. I don't know, maybe go to HR first. That's what they're there for, dealing with complaints and organizing charity fund runs. Meanwhile, all TVs at NSA headquarters will now run this. I'd watch that nonstop, Dana. As someone whose face is often on the network and will be on the network even more, can you believe it?
Yeah.
Do you take personal offense to this?
No. Well, I take offense that there's this really educated, talented woman who was able to get the top secret security clearance, who basically throws her entire life away for something so stupid. I do take offense to that because she owed herself better. She really let herself down. She is bankrupting her parents. She committed a crime against the country for something, a news story that was going to come out anyway.
Yes.
And I think she was being flippant when she talked to the FBI. Maybe not smart enough to realize that that will actually be used against her in court and here on the court of Fox News.
And Kat, what do you say? Do you have anything to say about this?
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that she's so sensitive. You think she would have like some tougher skin after most certainly being made fun of for her name her whole life,
yes.
Right?
She was also in the Air Force.
And also, just ladies, word of advice, if you are putting anything in your pantyhose besides a foot or a leg, and that's what you're doing in your life, you run from that life.
Yes.
Don't do that. It never ends well.
Yes, that's true. That's why I stopped wearing pantyhose.
Just legs in mine.
Just legs and feet. Anything other than that, and you don't want to be doing that.
She's even pantyhose.
Kimberly, that's true. Guys don't have places to hide things, and that's sexist.
Yes, I know. Well, you can put on some pantyhose if you like. We won't judge you.
Yes.
Well, I had big hair. I used to wear pants on my head to keep my wave down, but I mean, that's neither here nor there.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, but I agree with Dana. This woman is just, it's so sad that, she had so little regard, yes, for her country, for her family, for the rest of us, and also the fact that she's sitting there blaming Fox News. I mean, that's not inspiration at all. That's just ridiculous. It shows me that she's really lacking in intellect if she thinks she's going to try and get away with this by blaming the fact that she's upset in the NSA because she doesn't have a safe space because she doesn't like to listen to Fox. Really? That makes her incredibly
unsympathetic.
Yes.
I think it should make us feel better that the NSA is watching Fox News.
That's true. I agree.
Maybe
Yes.
they're really watching.
Tyrus, I mean, maybe her beef is legitimate. Like if I was I go to the gym, Equinox, and they always have the E channel on, and it drives me crazy because all I see they have botched plastic surgery.
I'm sorry, you go to the gym and you watch TV?
Yes, they have TVs. Yes. Yes. I go on the stair climber. I'm not like you, Tyrus.
Hashtag pot roast. Look, I love irony. I love funny jokes. Like if my name was arithmetic, but I kept failing math, people would try to make fun of me. Her name was Reality, right?
Yeah.
Reality loser.
So in reality, it means Echoes is real life. So she should know that creating a crime in the real world, you're going to end up in jail. Like she should have been a little smarter than that. She had security clearance, so she knew all the rules.
I think
I think it would be better. Her name was like Fantasy.
Like I've met some women named Fantasy.
Like I mean,
They're usually dancers, though. I had anybody named Reality.
Or Winner.
I'm barely in Reality.
No kidding.
Kimberly, that was unnecessary. Really.
But
all right.
Yeah, I was like, this is my reality. This is my what did you say? Reality. Be a great name. Like maybe that was his deal. You know?
Hey, Dana. Since we're talking a little bit about Fox News, anything you'd like to tell us about the new show?
Well, yes. So there's a new show starting Monday, October 2nd, at 2 p.m. Eastern. It'll be called The Daily Briefing with Dana Perino. That's my first applause. I'll never forget it. I'll take it with me everywhere, and hopefully we're going to have a chance to have some really good guests, get beyond the headlines, and show people what it's like behind the scenes working in Washington.
If you could, what would be your first ideal guest? And don't say anybody whose name begins with G.
No, that's not on my list.
Yes.
No, I am hoping, and we're trying to make it work out, that Sarah Huckabee Sanders would join me for the first guest on the show.
I know her dad.
Yes, I know her dad,
I can call him.
We all know her dad.
I don't know her dad.
Bragger, Greg.
No, but I mean, I have his phone number.
But I think the second Republican woman White House press secretary would be a fitting guest.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That makes
Thank
total
you.
sense.
Thanks for the plug.
You got it. All right, don't go anywhere. Final thoughts next.
Sandals. More quality inclusions than any other resorts on the planet. Save up to 65%. Call 1-800-SANDALS.
When we moved, we didn't have anything, so we used OfferUp, a free app that let us find awesome things our neighbors were selling. It was a great way to furnish our home and get to know our new city.
Now we have lots of furniture and a lot of new friends, too.
OfferUp is free to use. Find anything you want nearby.
Looks like you're not sleeping well.
How did you know? Megan!
Hey, you're that guy.
The My Pillow guy.
That's right, and I'm here to help you get the best sleep of your lives. Just like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. I had tried every pillow out there and none of them worked. That's why I invented My Pillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck aligned. My Pillow will hold its shape all night long, regardless of your sleep position, for the best sleep of your life.
Call or go to mypillow.com now, and Mike will give you 2 MyPillow premiums for 1 low price. Use the promo code, and you'll also receive free shipping. That's 2 MyPillow premiums for 1 low price.
You're sleeping better.
Much better.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
There's nothing more important than your health. So if you're on Medicare, or will be soon, you may want more than Parts A and B. Here's why. Medicare only covers about 80% of your Part B medical expenses. The rest is up to you. You might want to consider an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company. Like any Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan, these help pick up some of what Medicare doesn't pay. And these plans let you choose any doctor or hospital that accepts Medicare patients. You could stay with a doctor or specialist you trust, or go with someone new. You're not stuck in a network, because there aren't any. So don't wait. Call now to request your free decision guide and find the AARP Medicare supplement plan that works for you. There's a range to choose from, depending on your needs and your budget. Rates are competitive, and they're the only plans of their kind endorsed by AARP. Like any of these types of plans, they let you apply whenever you want. There's no enrollment window, no waiting to apply. So call now. Remember, Medicare supplement plans help cover some of what Medicare doesn't pay. You'll be able to choose any doctor or hospital that accepts Medicare patients. Whether you're on Medicare now or turning 65 soon, it's a good time to get your ducks in a row. Call to request your free decision guide now, because the time to think about tomorrow is today.
Bethany the mobile game. Let your reign begin. Bethany the mobile game.
Download now.
I will see you Monday on the 5 with these two creeps at 5 p.m. Eastern. We're running out of time, so.
What you've wanted to say all show, but haven't had the chance to say, so here's your chance to say it. Right now.
Dana, you have anything?
The only thing I can think of is that I am now 15 days into being off Diet Coke and diet sodas, and I think I deserve a round of applause. It's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy.
I love Diet Coke. It's the greatest tasting chemical ever. Kimberly?
Yes, okay, so I'm looking forward to football Sunday.
Yeah.
And hoping that people start to heal and listen to each other, treat each other better, so I'm excited about that.
Heal, don't kneel. Heal
There you
out. Hashtag. Heal, don't kneel. That's why I'm here. I don't know why. Tyrus, some final thoughts?
I watched Terms of Endearment.
Yes.
And I cried at the end, and I videotaped myself doing it. I'm going to post it after the show. I don't know why that show gets me, but like when she's talking to her kid, I was like, oh, man, I
You're
can't
a sensitive
I'm
person. You're a
no,
big
I'm tough.
teddy bear.
I'll whoop your ass and cry to you about it.
Yes. And you know what? I'd pay you to do it.
No, you wouldn't.
I know a club.
It's only a one-time deal. Like, you're not coming back.
That worked out well for you, Greg. Stand
Oh, and
down.
hashtag pot roast.
Okay, there you go. Last word, Catherine.
I had 2 bagels today.
Mm.
2. How am I supposed to expect other people to respect me when I so clearly don't respect myself?
I don't believe she had 2 bagels because we'd see it. We'd see
On
that 2 little bagels.
on one of them, I had half butter, half cream cheese, and the other one I had avocado and hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah, if you had 2 bagels, you would basically
She
see
looked
2
like a dumbbell.
eyeballs.
I'm
Yeah,
like
your
90%
stomach.
bagel
Little
right
eyeballs.
now.
Yeah.
Right around
There's
your.
no way she
right
had
around-
2 bagels.
All right.
I did have a Diet Coke.
Thanks to Dana Perino, Kimberly Guilfoyle, Catherine Smith, Tyrus, our studio audience. I love you, America. I'm Craig Hannity.
know that there is media here from all over the world. Anytime you have an O.J. Simpson story, whether it be the trial 9 years ago, of course, the civil trial back in the 90s, or the criminal trial that everybody watched, or even more recently, you had the miniseries that was so critically acclaimed. The O.J. Simpson saga, the O.J. Simpson story, is one that has been followed by millions around the world, like it or like him or not. So you've got a lot of people paying attention to this. I think once that first picture and the first idea of where he's going to be kind of settles in, if he ends up staying here for a few days, I think at that point maybe the story starts to settle down a bit. But right now at this hour in the middle of Vegas, it's still very busy here. It's a Saturday night. The clubs are hopping and people are out at the blackjack tables. And believe it or not, in the background, they're not watching the college football highlights. They're actually kind of paying attention to what's happening with the O.J. Simpson. Watching the college football highlights, they're actually kind of paying attention to what's happening with the O.J. Simpson.